What's up, everybody? Yellow. So in this video, I'm gonna do the beginner's method on how to solve a Rubik's Cube. Just so you know, that thumbnail and that title is not clickbait. I am absolutely using my mind to solve the Rubik's Cube. I just want to point that out. There's no lie, no false advertisement there. I 100% used my brain to solve the Rubik's Cube. So check out this video. Here's a beginner's tutorial. Again, this is long overdue, but I think we have the resources to make it happen now, and then we'll eventually do a more advanced tutorial as well. But see you guys there. What's good, everybody? Yellow. So I want to go over something that I feel like is a huge oversight on my part on this channel, but is the beginner tutorial on how to solve a 3x3. I mean, I've gone through all these other puzzles on these tutorials now, and I'm thinking I never did a 3x3 tutorial, and that's like the bread and butter. So let's go ahead and do that. This is going to be the beginner's method from my perspective. I've seen a lot of different beginner methods out there, and I've found some more complicated than others. So this is going to be my version, and hopefully that's the easiest one and helps a lot of people learn and grow. And for some of you, this is going to be very, too beginner. And this might not be the video for you, but anyone who's trying to learn how to solve a 3x3, let's do it. So the first thing I want to say is we want to understand what pieces are actually on the puzzle. So we have let me do on a solved cube just so it's a little easier to visualize. So we have our centers on each side. You have the center, and no matter how you change the cube or whatever you reorient the pieces, they're always going to stay, the colors are going to stay oriented to each other the same way. And what I really mean by all that is, like, this is always going to be the yellow side if the yellow center is there. If you do this, it's not the yellow side anymore. This is now supposed to be the white side. So just to let you know, so like this will always be the blue side, this will always be the white side, this will always be green. That's just the way it is. So again, no matter how you manipulate the cube, they stay in the same orientation to each other, and it's just take my word for that one. So again, we have 6 centers, we have 6 sides, so we obviously have 1 center per side. Then we have our edges, which an edge piece is this, 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 and this. So for each side, we have 4 edges as far as colors go. So you have, 1, 2, 3, 4 orange, 4 yellow, same on every side. This will be the same on every side for each one, but then we have 4 corners. So here are our corners. And so now we understand we have a center, an edge piece, and we have corners. The cube consists of essentially 3 pieces, or 3 types of pieces. And that's the first thing we want to know. Then the second thing we want to understand is just that, like I said, the colors will always be oriented the same. On a bigger cube, like a 4x4 or something with even numbers, you have to build your centers. So you could actually place them in the wrong places and then make the cube harder to solve. That's getting way too ahead of myself. Let me just say, so as far as a 3x3 goes, like I said, the colors will always be oriented the same. So you have blue here. It's always going to be next to orange, which is always going to be next to green, which is always going to be next to red. And one way a lot of people remember this is if you put the white side on the left and you go in order, if you roll the cube towards you, it would be the acronym BOGRE. Blue, orange, green, red. Again, this is something more for advanced solving. You don't really need to remember this right now, but something is like, if you ever were solving and you come up to a case where your pieces don't look right in where they're at, you might have set something up wrong. So we'll get to that in it, but I just wanted you to realize that the colors will always be oriented the same way. Almost all cubes have the same colors. There are color modifications and whatnot, but all basic cubes will have the same colors. We're going to have blue, orange, green, red for the sides, and then we're going to have white and yellow for the top and bottom. So the method we're going to be using today is called CFOP. That stands for cross, first 2 layers, orientation of last layer, and permutation of last layer. So let's go one step at a time. What that means is we're going to first build a white cross on the center of on the bottom of the cube. Then we're going to build this cube. So a common misconception with Rubik's Cubes in general is that you're supposed to build like side by side at a time. I know when I was a kid and you know, back in like the 90s and stuff, that was always what we thought. We're like, oh, we got a side done. And then we thought, you know, you move down to the next side, but that's not how you solve this puzzle at all. You do it by layer. So that's why the next step number 2, is called first 2 layers, because we're going to get the bottom layer solved, this first bottom row, and then we're going to get the second row of or layer of pieces inserted, and then you're going to have these 2 layers finished, and that'll be F2L, first 2 layers. Then we're going to work on getting first a yellow cross on the top, kind of like the bottom, and then we're going to work on getting a whole yellow top. And then you work on getting all the right pieces in the right places on the top. That's essentially the CFOP method. That is your cross, F2L, or OLL, and PLL. So let's start with our cross. I realize I don't have an over the camera shoulder, which would be ideal for this, but let's do the best we can here. So now we're going to switch to, like I said, this is what most people probably are solving on for their first time. So this is what I chose to use. I have an old school Rubik's Cube, of course. So what we want to do is you can essentially build a cross on the white side. That's the more advanced technique. But what we're going to do is we're going to do something called the daisy method. And what that means is you're going to take this your yellow side, and you're going to bring up your edge pieces with white on them. So this might already be getting overwhelming, but I'll show you what that means. So what we want to do is any edge piece. So this is this one. Let's see, so this is blue and white. We have red and white. So it's going to be always in the middle part right here. It's never going to be in the corner. That's a corner piece. We're only looking for edges right now. So like I said, we have orange and white here. So those are the pieces we're looking for. There's 3, there's another one somewhere. We have red, orange, blue, and here's green. Green is actually lined up with green, which is a good thing. But for this purposes, we're still going to show you. So what we're going to do as daisy, what that means is you're going to take these white edge pieces and bring them up to the top. You want to bring them to the top layer, and it doesn't matter where they are. It doesn't have to be in any certain order. You just want to bring up all of the white edges into these spots here. So we're going to find another white edge. So this white edge, the best way, so if you were to simply just rotate it up, you see how the white would be pointed the wrong way. So that wouldn't be the best way to do this. What you would want to do is actually turn this layer over like that and then bring it up. So now you see, now the orientation of it is pointed upwards. All of these white need to be pointed up. So that's you know, kind of a thing to remember. So right here we have this green and white. We could essentially move this up, but what that does is it kicks out the orange that we had just put in place. So why don't we do this? Why don't we rotate it, then bring up our green, and now we have 3 of our 4 daisies in place, or daisy petals. So our last piece is here. Again, if we were to bring it up, there's a white piece in that spot. So what we want to do is turn the layer, and then now we bring our white piece up, and that is what they call the daisy. You have your yellow center with all of your white edges around it. That is the first step. So now that you have your daisy, this is just an extra white piece. You can disregard that. So now that you have your daisy, what you want to do is look at the side color. So this one's green. What we're going to do is we're going to rotate that to the green side. So it's now made a 2x1 block. And then you can go ahead and rotate that whole side down. And now you have one piece of your white cross, and the colors match on the side. This is really what matters. You want these colors to match of the cross, because you could just put the pieces down here, but the colors need to match. So that's why we do the daisy. So here's the orange and white. It's already paired with orange. So that one we can just go ahead and do an R2, turn it all the way down. Okay, now blue Blue happens to already be with blue, but if blue was over here with red, all we would do is we would rotate it over to the blue side and then do our R2. If you don't know oh my gosh, the algorithm, if you don't know oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the word. If you don't know just like the verbiage for like how to, or the like letters, so that R, U, R prime, if you don't understand what that means, I'm going to explain that here in a moment, because we're going to go over an algorithm we need to use to solve this, so that will all make sense. But when I say R2, that means turning the right layer two times. So one rotation would be 90 degrees and two would be 180 degrees. We'll get to that though. So now we have our last edge piece. Again, if this was over green, all we would need to do is, sorry, I'm doing this into the camera in the mirror pretty much, but we'd match it up with red and then turn it all the way down. So our daisy is gone. We have no more white pieces there, but what we do have is a white cross. And if you check, the best way to check if you did this right is each color should be matching on the side. So we have these 2x1 blocks on each side, and we have our white cross. That means you've completed the first step of CFOP. That is the C in CFOP. So now what we want to do is we're going to, again, knowing our what the pieces are called, we're going to find our corner piece that has the same colors as where we want it to go into. So let me expand on that. So pretty much we want to bring down the corner pieces that will fill in this whole white side. What we're going to do is we're going to look at what color the sides are that make up that corner. So right here we have green and we have orange. So what we're going to do is we're going to scan the cube. It's going to either be down in one of your corners already. It's either going to be in one of your edges, or somewhere in the top layer. It literally could be anywhere at this point because we've solved so little of the cube. So you're gonna have to scan the cube and kind of see where it is. We got lucky, and it happens to actually be, here's green and orange, green, orange, and this is right above the corner it would go in. So this is where I'm gonna pause just for 1 second, not the video, but I'm gonna pause the solving so I can explain one thing to you, and this is algorithms. You just need two simple algorithms, and I will put them on the screen here so you know. The first, they're mirror versions of each other, so it's essentially really one algorithm, but you will learn the right-handed and left-handed version essentially. So the righty alg goes like this. Take a different cube here and I'll show you. And this is where notation was the word. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it just hit me like a lightning bolt. The cubing notation, if you don't understand that and don't know what R prime, U prime, all those things mean, I will go over that with you. So when you're holding a cube, anytime you see a letter, it means turning that layer clockwise. If it's R, you can literally if you were holding the cube, you could take the right side, and if you looked at it and turned it clockwise, that would be an R move. R prime is just going the opposite way, is counterclockwise. So U would be the upper. I don't know why they didn't do T. Maybe there's, but I always thought about that. T would make sense, like top, because they do B for bottom. B is back. Sorry, no, they do D for down. That's my bad. So anyways, so what you want to do is, sorry, I got lost in my explanation there, but so U is a little different. So, I mean, they will all work the same, but you're going to see how, like L, for example, because you're looking at it from the opposite side, L going clockwise is actually going towards you, and L prime will be going away from you. And the reason it means anything at all is because when you're doing an R move with your right hand, R moves away from you. With your left hand, it moves towards you because you're going from an opposite side. So don't be tempted when you're doing an L move to just do L like this, because that's not L. L is towards you because that's moving clockwise. Again, if you ever are questioning what's right or wrong, look at the layer face on and think which way is clockwise and which way is counterclockwise, and then you'll know that you're doing it right. So the first algorithm we're going to do, it's a lot of this is really just R and U moves, so right and upper, and then the other one's going to be left and upper. So it's very straightforward. You don't need to worry about the rest of the notation like down or back or front, like F, or there's a lot of more letters in the notation, but all we need is RU and LU. So our first algorithm, sorry if I'm over explaining this a little bit, but it's R, so we're going to turn the right layer clockwise. U, so we're going to do the upper layer clockwise. R prime, so now we're going to turn the right side counterclockwise, and then we're going to do U prime, which is going to be the upper layer counterclockwise. And that's just a 4-move algorithm, and honestly it's very simple. And not only that, it will, if you ever are worried that you say you did it, or you did it too many, like twice instead of once, that is an algorithm that will actually recycle the whole cube. So like after one time it looks like this, but after 6 times it will recycle the entire cube. So if you ever accidentally, like say you did it twice and you're like, oh no, I don't know how it's set up, do it 4 more times and it'll reset everything the way it was, and you can start fresh again. I understand that when you're starting out, a lot of times you can make like one wrong flick and to be totally lost on where you are, and at that point it's not going to save you, but that's part of the learning process. But okay, let's go over this out one more time. It's going to be an R, U, R prime, U prime. Just those 4 moves. A lot of times you only need to do it once or twice, but you may need to do it up to like 5 times, depending on how the orientation of the pieces are, and we'll go over that when we get to it. So like you can see here, this corner piece, this corner piece I'm going to put in this corner. This is very similar to what we're going to be doing, and this is a lot what I was talking about, the orientation. So because the white is facing me, if the white was on the right side, it would take just 1 algorithm to put it into place. If the right is facing me, it takes 5. If it's facing up, it takes 3. So you can always tell how many you're going to need to do by the way it's facing. But for now, just do the algorithm until it's in place. You don't need to count. You don't need to really worry about that. This is all future, kind of like as you want to get better and build your skills a little more, you'll be able to use kind of some of these tips, and hopefully some of this will sink in. You know, I know it's a lot at first. I've been the new cuber and I know how hard it is. You have to rewind the video a bunch of times and get all the tips, but that's kind of why I'm going over it slowly and repetitively, is I know it's not easy. And again, hopefully some of these extra tips I'll give you, like I said, will help you out when you do get into like edge pairing, like making pairs in your before and whatnot. But again, we'll get to that. So using that algorithm, we're going to put our corner piece in place. I probably got you so off track. You're like, where were we? So we're putting our corner piece into the corner. We have not changed much. Again, this white piece is faced right. It might not look like that through the camera, but yeah, it is. It's faced right. So I know that I only need to do 1 right alg, and this should be down in the bottom. So we go R, U, R prime, U prime. And sure enough, there is our orange and green corner piece in the right place, in the right orientation. So all you want to do is do that same thing and just repeat it 4 times for each corner. So let's identify another corner piece. So here's our green, red, and white. Here is actually it's also over the right corner. That's very lucky. Green, red, and white will go there. This is not white, but that's not the right piece. And so like, again, if this piece was anywhere else, all you would do is say, if this was over the wrong corner, you would just simply move it. So you want to just line it up over the corner it's going to drop into. And so this is how, like I was saying, you can know these facts, but because this is faced up, the white is pointed up, I know it's going to take me 3 righty algs to insert this. So here we go. R, U, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, U prime. So 3, let's check it out. Ooh, there it is. So green, red, and we have green, orange. So now we have 2 of our corners in place. So again, you want to repeat this for the other ones. And so here's a case. This is actually something I'm glad that came up because this might throw some people off. So if you have your white piece and it's in not only the wrong corner, but just completely orientated wrong and oriented wrong, all you need to do is do the righty alg with that in the bottom right corner. So ready, we're gonna do R, U, R prime, U prime, and that will take that piece out of the corner. And now we know what to do. Now we know we want to take this piece, it's blue and red and white. So we're going to put it over the blue and red corner here. And this one, again, we got lucky where it's pointing right. So it's going to take only one righty alg. We're going to do R, U, R prime, U prime. And as you can see, now we have 8 of our 9 blocks in place. So the last corner we can see is actually very easy to identify. The white's pointing up. That means it's going to take 3 algorithms if you remember correctly. Again, that's not necessary to know. You can literally just do it until it's in place. So this one is, however, not over the right corner. So let's see. This is green and orange. This is blue and orange. That's not right. Blue and orange. Okay, this is the right one. So now we place it always with it in the top right-hand corner, especially if you're right-handed. And then you want to do this 3 times. So we're going to do R, U, R prime, U prime. R, U, R prime, U prime. And if you notice, now we have this piece, and what's going to happen is R is going to put it in the back, U is going to bring it right in line there, and then R prime is going to build our whole bottom. So now we have like the upside down little T's on each side. That's how you know you've done this step correctly. You should have all on each side should be the same color, and then the center block should match the edge. That is a completed first layer. So we're still not through F2L. F2L will be when we get these edges inserted. And so real quick, like I said, there's the right-handed and left-handed versions of that algorithm. So like I said, the first one is R, U, R prime, U prime. That's very straightforward. That's what it is. I mean, like I said, I'll put that on the screen again if that helps. But the left-handed version, and this is where so say you had a case where you want to put this piece in this corner, that's where it goes. And if you were to, it's facing me right now, which that would take 5 right-handed algorithms to put that in place. If we were to turn the cube, so this is now in the top left, it's now facing left, which is the same principle as when it's facing right on the right side. So that means it'll only take 1 lefty alg to insert it. And the left alg, is that it's just the same as the right, but it's on the left hand. So what you're going to do is, let's get a whole different cube here. So what you're going to do is, again, this is where L, you would think, because R, you turn forward when you do R. L, you would think, ooh, L is that, but it's not. It's L prime, U prime, L, U. We'll do that again. It's L prime, so we're taking our left side and turning it counterclockwise away from us. And then we're doing a U prime, so we're doing our upper layer counterclockwise. Then we're doing L, so now we're taking the left side and turning it towards us or clockwise. And then we're taking our upper layer, U, and doing a clockwise. So U, not U prime. And that, again, that's your lefty alg. So you can use, in the end of the solve, you're going to need to use both. That's why I bring it up. But essentially, it just depends on it. So in this, like I said, in this case where this is facing left, it's much easier and faster to just insert that piece by doing 1 left. But if you're someone who's very much not like right hand dominant and you don't like using your left hand, I mean, one day you'll probably want to learn how to, you know, get quick with it. But if that makes you uncomfortable at the beginning, you absolutely can just do it with your right hand. It'll just take you 5 rotations or iterations of the algorithm. But there's no right or wrong way, essentially, just one that takes longer. And this is the event that's a lot about speed. So, but at this point, we're just trying to learn how to solve it. So do what's comfortable for you. That's why I bring it up. It's just there's multiple ways to do it, but you want to do what's really comfortable for you. Okay, so back to our solve here. So what we want to do is we want to insert the right colored pieces into these edges. And these are edges just like the white had edges. These are edges also, they're just not white edge pieces. These are colored edge pieces. And these ones just go right with the same color scheme. And this is why I brought up the color orientation, how it's always going to be blue, blue, orange, green, red, bogre, B-O-G-R. Just, you know, even when you're solving, it's sometimes helpful to know, like, red is always going to be opposite of orange. They're kind of like two of the same, like similar shades, like red and orange are kind of like similar colors, and it makes sense they're opposite. And then green and blue also kind of similar on that like bluish green, you know, hue. Those are opposite. Yellow and white, kind of the same thing. So you can see like similar colors are always opposite of each other. And all of those things, just all those facts start to like help build up a little bit of like a data bank in your head. And when you're solving, those little things kind of pop up. You're like, oh, I remember this is the way those colors go. And again, I know it's a lot to remember all at once, but I want to try and make this very informative so it's easy for you guys. So okay, let's get to inserting our edge pieces. I'm talking way too much. Okay, so this one's actually already in perfect place. So what we want to do is what we need to put, so right here, there's a blue and red piece. That's not the colors that go there, obviously. It's green and red. So what, and this is actually a good thing what you're going to find out here is because a lot of people would ask too is like, if this is in the wrong place, how do I put this piece here where it actually goes? And it's by doing exactly what we're going to do is we're going to insert the right piece, and that's going to kick this piece out and allow us to then reinsert it into the right place. So let's do that. So when you're inserting edges, what you want to do is you want to find the edge that goes, so it goes into this spot. It's green and red, green and red. So what you want to do is you want to line up the red. So like red, like, so if you were to say, like, even though say it's green and red and you were to put it to this side, this would not work. This whole strategy would not work. So what you want to do is line up red with red, and then I have to turn it just because I'm going to be doing this. But what you want to do essentially is you want to turn it away. You're going to turn this top layer away from where you want it to go into. So if you want it to go into this green and red spot, then we're going to turn it away towards blue. And so when it's facing you, you just I turned it left. So now the piece is on my left, and yeah. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do a lefty alg and righty alg. Oh, sorry, I did that in the wrong order. So we want to do sorry. This old cube is just like okay. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to take, like I said, this red side and move it away from where it's supposed to go to the blue side. Sorry, I'm doing this all in mirror and it's kind of throwing me. So once you have it on your left, you're going to hold the red side facing you and do one righty alg, and then you turn the cube, and now the green side is facing me, and I'm going to do one lefty alg. And what that's going to do is now you see that inserted that pair right there. Sorry, I had to fix a corner. We're going to set it up so I can have the right cases to show you guys. Okay, so now we have our edge piece in place. So what we want to do now is find another edge piece. And actually this one's already lined up. So when you find a color like this and it's already lined, like I said, you don't want to go to the orange side. This will set everything up wrong. What you want to do is make sure these colors are lined up, because again, you're going to turn it away from the orange side anyways. So if you were at the orange side and then you turned it away again, it would just be really off. But essentially what you're going to do is you're going to turn it away from orange, because you want it to go into the blue and orange side. And then because now this is the opposite case, now our piece is on the right hand side. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do one lefty alg, one righty alg, and that's going to insert that edge piece. And I'm going to do the next one nice and slow, and I'm going to show you how the pieces move so you can kind of see. So essentially you just keep finding another edge piece. So now we're going to find our next edge piece. Here it is, blue and red, goes in right here. But this one is not lined up. So far we've gotten lucky where they've all been lined up, but I'm happy that we got one that isn't, so I can show you how to take care of that. So when we have blue and red, this might look like the right place, but like we talked about earlier, it's not. So what you want to do is move that blue to where it's blue on blue. Now, when you have that facing you, you think, okay, blue and red is right here. I'm going to then move this layer away. I'm going to move it, it's clockwise, do a U move to move it to the left. So now we have the opposite case. So the thing too that I wanted to point out is, so if you move the piece to the left and now it's on the left hand side, then you start with a righty alg. If you move it to the right, then you start with the left alg. That's part I left out of the first one, and that's a really important thing to know. So because this is on our blue and red piece is on the left, we're going to do a righty alg, and that's R, U, R prime, U prime. And what that did was it essentially took out our corner piece, and you can see our other edge piece is over here. So now we're going to do a Y move. X is when you turn the cube like this. Y is when you just rotate it, but we're going to rotate it so the red side is now facing us. That's really what matters, not the letters. And what you can see is what happens when, now we're going to do a lefty alg, but I want you to watch and track the pieces as they move. So here's our corner, here is our edge. What happens when you do a lefty alg, it actually puts those two pieces together as a pair, and that was our so that's just the L prime. So doing an L prime puts those together. Doing a U prime brings it where it's all in line on the bottom here. Then doing, then doing an L move brings it all back down. And then doing the U at the end is somewhat irrelevant in that part, because it's just turning the top. It's not affecting it. That part doesn't really affect your edge pieces. But as you can see, so now we have 1, 2, 3 of our edge pieces in, and we have just a 4th edge piece to insert. And we got lucky again. So again, this could easily have been like over here, and just that's where you have to identify, like, okay, where does this go? This goes match green with green. So we would turn it a whole 180 degrees around, match green with green. Now we want to look and analyze, and we know this is the only place left for it to go, and we know it's the right colors. That's the last thing you want to check too, is it the right colors? Because you can sometimes have edges in the wrong place, and like we explained, you would put another piece in to kick it out if it's in the wrong place. But so far we've had very good luck. We had to kick one out, but and again, when I say kick out, I means when we have a wrong edge piece in and we use another piece to put it in there to make that piece come up to the top layer so we can now insert it into its right place. So green and orange goes to green and orange. So again, we're going to move it away. We're going to move it away from the spot that it goes. So we moved it to the left. So now we're going to do a righty alg, because we moved it to the left, we're going to do right. We're going to start with right. If we moved it to the right, we would start with left. So we're going to do R, U, R prime, U prime. And we're going to rotate the cube so the orange is in front of us now. Do L, you can see it made that pair, U prime, sorry, L prime was the first move, U prime, L, and then you can do the U if you want. But what that did was that is the finish of F2L. Now you can see we have our white side. We have the first two layers on each side. And this is where I mean, like, you don't build side by side, you build layers on this. So here we go. So now we're gonna get to, let's see what's left. We have our what's called OLL. That is the O in the CFOP. And that's orientation of last layer. So when you're doing the beginner method, you're gonna get one of 3 yellow cases on top. So there's all, this is a definite fact. There's no like exceptions to this rule. But if you've done F2L properly, and this is another thing to note, is that if you don't have one of these 3 cases on the top, then check your F2L, because there's been times where I'm speed solving and I didn't put the right edge piece in and my OLL looks all weird, and I know to go check my edges because there's got to be something wrong. So if you've done F2L right, which we have, you'll get either what looks like a single dot, you'll get like a line, like I'm not trying to block it out, but like you get a line of yellow all the way across, or you would get a hook. So you can disregard the corners and extra yellows you might have. So this, I hope you can identify this is a hook. So if it was, I'm just real quick, I want to point out, if it was a dot, all you do is you're gonna, this is the only time, okay, I take the back when I said you didn't have to do any F moves. This is the only time you have to do an F move. So F is when you do F, and F prime is taking the front or face layer of your cube. And again, if F regular is turning it clockwise and F prime is going counterclockwise. So that's F, F prime. So what we want to do here is, if you have, because again, if you have a dot, this is, I'm sorry, I was trying to remember which case we're doing. So if we have a dot, you're going to turn the first layer over like this. You're just going to do an F move. Then you're just going to do your righty alg. So R, U, R prime, U prime. Then you're going to turn this, now you're going to do an F prime, just turning this first layer back up. And so this was a solved cube. You can see how it actually gave me a hook. Let's see. Okay, I was just trying to give myself a dot. So now you can see when we actually have a dot, this is what it would look like. Again, these are irrelevant. I mean, you could have every corner out, but if you don't have any other edges, it's irrelevant. And you'll never just have like a 2. If you have like just these 2, you know an edge piece is wrong or something. Like that's an absolute fact. Like I said, you'll always have a dot, a line, or a hook. And you actually just saw them. And when I was trying to create this dot, it went from a hook to a line to a dot. And that's because the only possible, patterns that it can have are those ones. But anyway, so now we have our dot. I can show you truly. Turn the front layer over, do an F move. So here's your front layer. You're gonna go F, and then holding with that same green face pointing towards you, you're gonna do R, U, R prime, U prime. Turn it F prime to turn that back up, and now it gave us a hook. So we happened to get a hook in our solve. That was just lucky, so we got to skip that step. So there's also this next part. A lot of people put their hook in the top left corner, and then they turn the front layer over. They'll do a righty alg, that'll give them a line, and then they'll do that again. I honestly don't know why they do that, because if you hold the cube with the hook in the bottom right-hand corner like this, turn this time, instead of doing an F move, just the one layer, you're gonna do an F wide, which is when you turn both of the front 2 layers over. This is probably the most advanced thing we're gonna go through. This is pretty simple, but like I understand turning this much of the cube and everything, it takes a lot of trust, but if you trust me, I promise this is gonna work out. So if you turn this over, now you can see you got our hook on the side. With your hook on the right-hand side, you're gonna do a righty alg. We have the green facing us. You can see that everything's been turned. R, U, R prime, U prime. Now what you want to do is turn those same 2 layers, double F wide prime, and now we have a cross. Again, the corners are just bonus. We don't even know if they're in the right place yet. But what matters is that gave us a yellow cross. And that's not actually a step in the CFOP, but that's a part of our OLL. We're trying to orientate the whole last layer to be all yellow on top. So now that we have this, what we want to do is, and this is where the beginner method differs from the advanced method, is the advanced method you would work on getting it all yellow, and the last thing you'd do is you'd memorize a bunch of algorithms to change all the pieces around to get all the pieces in the right place. We're going to do it differently. In the beginner method, what you do is you figure out your corners ahead of time, you get all your corners in the right place, and then you turn all of your yellow pieces up, and then you end up usually with what's called a U-perm, and that's when 3 last edges are in the wrong place and they just need to be cycled in a certain either clockwise or counterclockwise fashion. So let's do that. We have our yellow cross. This was, like I said, this is not technically like a check off in our CFOP method, but this is like a mid-level check off in the OLL stage. So what we want to do is let's put some corners in the right place like this. So this one's obviously in the right place. Not only was it already solved, but it's actually goes right there. So if we look, like this one, it may not be oriented right, but those colors match, and that's what we're looking for. So this one does not match, and I can already tell you. So if we have 2 that match, we're gonna have 2 that don't. So essentially, that means we have to do a double edge swap or double corner swap. Sorry. So if you turn it, like I said, you want to first orient a corner, and that way it'll give you an idea of how many corners you have correct. But knowing that we have 2 opposite corners like that, what you can do is if you turn just a 1 turn, you can see that now blue and orange and green and orange, if those were just swapped, those would be in the right spot. Green and red, green and red and blue and red, same thing. If those were swapped, those would be in the right spots. So sometimes you get lucky and you have 2 and you just have to swap 2 corners. Sometimes you have to do, double swap. This one's going to be, so you'll get to see the worst case scenario if you have to do a double swap. So what you want to do is put the 2 edges that you want to swap on the right hand side. That way your right hand will literally be holding them. And what you're going to do is you're going to do 3 right algs, rotate the cube with a Y rotation. So now the red would be facing us. And then you're going to do 3 left. And what that'll do is that'll swap those 2 corners. Then we'll have to do the exact same thing for the other side. So let's go ahead and do it. We're going to do R, U, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, U prime. Okay, that's 3. One tip too, we also know that was 3 because it turned our white up. After 3 algs, it turns this up, and 3 more would put it back down. So that's kind of a little benchmark, so like I did this correctly. And this is also a way you want this white piece up in your top. Now it was in your top right hand corner. You're going to turn it, like I said, a Y move, so now it's in your top left corner. So now you're just going to do the same thing, but you're going to do lefty alg 3 times. So L prime, U prime, L, U. L prime, U prime, L, U. And this is last one, L prime, you can see it makes the pair, U prime, L. And you actually don't need to do the last flick because it's just, you're going to have to reorient these anyways to get them right. So right now you can see though, you have, let's see, where is it? So you have, okay, sorry, I was looking at the wrong ones. I was like, did I not do it right? You have blue and yellow blue and red and green and red are now in the right corners. Green and orange and blue and orange are not. So I'm going to swap back over to this cube because we didn't actually do our hook on here. So I'm just going to go back just a little bit. So we're going to do our hook where we turn the first 2 layers over. We're going to do a R, U, R prime, U prime. Turn it back. And now we're going to have our cross. And I kind of wanted to do that so you could see the difference. Like I said, you'll get bonus like yellow pieces that'll pop up, but they're not necessarily in the right place yet, so those really don't count. What matters is that we have our cross. And so now this one, let's take a look. This one is actually the exact same scenario. We literally need to switch. So green, you can see green and red and blue and red. Those need to be swapped. And then oh, actually, maybe not. Oh, actually, no, we got lucky. I'm sorry. So this is what I was saying. This could happen. Now you've seen also. I'm really happy I did this because now you've seen both cases. Sometimes you might have to do a double swap. Sometimes you just have to do a single. So check this out. So blue and red is in the right place. Green and red is in the right place. So automatically we know we either have all of them in the right place or we need to do one corner swap. So now let's look at, so blue and orange is over green and orange. That's not right. And green and orange is over blue and orange. So those two need to be swapped. So holding those on the right-hand side, we're going to do 3 right, rotate a Y rotation, and then do 3 left. Here we go. R, U, R prime, U prime. R, U, R prime, U prime. R, U, R prime, U prime. That's 3. Now we're going to rotate, so the orange side is facing us, and you know that it's facing me because the yellows or the red side's facing you, and orange is always opposite of red. So now holding with the white piece up in our top left corner, we're going to do 3 lefty algs, and that will fix all of the corners. Because again, 2 of them were already right. So left, L prime, U prime, L, U, L prime, U prime, L, U, L prime, that makes the pair. You can see the last one. U prime is going to insert it into the, and then L, and then this is the one where you don't necessarily need to do the last U flick because all you need to really do is now check your corners. So green, orange, blue, orange, red, blue, green, red. Perfect. So now and these are actually even up the right way already. So now what we want to do is we want to get this whole side to be yellow. Now that we have the corners in the right places, the edges have not been put in the right place. If you notice, the edges do not match, but that's where some beginner methods differ. Some people will have you pre-align those, so when you finish, you don't have to do an ending algorithm. Mine will require you to do 5 righty algs and 5 lefty algs at the end to finish the whole solve. So it just kind of depends what you like. I always found that worked for me. I think that the other methods, they may have an easier finish, but there's a lot more steps and a lot more, there's more algorithms, there's more things to learn. Mine literally just has a righty, lefty, and the F move. I keep leaving out the F move, but the front layer move is the only other real move that you need to complete this. So back to our cube here. So we have 2 corners where we need the yellow to be flipped. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to invert the cube. We're going to put white on top, and we're going to put one of the corners that is not correct. So one of the corners that does not have its yellow facing down, we're going to put that in the bottom right. And just like all the rest of the time, we're going to use the righty alg, and we're going to do, and this is where you're just going to do the righty alg until the yellow is facing down. And this is one where you do need to complete every move. That the last U flick matters. So you need to do all for the R, U, R prime, U prime. You need to do all 4 moves every time, or else it's not going to end up right. So this one you do need to complete the algorithm, but I'm going to show you very simply how to do this. So all you're going to do is keep doing the righty until this yellow is on the bottom. So we're going to go R, U, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, U prime. So now this is pointing down. It looks like the cube is a mess. Don't worry. That is totally normal. I feel like people are probably like, oh my God, you messed up all my hard work. No. What we do now is, that's why it was important that you did all of the moves, is because if you didn't rotate that last layer and we tried to finish this, something would not come together at the end. So what we want to do now is we have 1 corner left that's not in the right place. And holding the cube, this was something I overlooked learning the beginner method, and I swear I spent days and I could not figure out why the last three things or whatever of the solve did not go right. I mean, I was getting 95% the way there and then messing up. And I finally rewatched the same tutorial and I caught this one little snippet of information. And that's, you hold the cube and you don't rotate anything except the bottom layer. So I said, you're going to keep it super screwed up like this and whatever, that's fine. What you're going to do is you're going to rotate the bottom layer. So now the next I call them foul corners, but the next fouled corner is there. So this needs to be rotated or oriented. So what we're going to do is put that in the bottom right corner. That's all that matters. We kept everything else the same. I held the cube just like this, so nothing else could move. And I just put the next foul corner in the bottom right. And now we're going to do a righty alg until that yellow is on the bottom. And what you'll notice is because that's the last one, the cube's just going to come together. And this is where you got to have some trust. But here it goes. R, U, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, U prime, and R, U, R prime, U prime. Okay, so now you notice everything in the cube came back together. That's why you don't want to be changing your orientation in your hands. You don't want to be moving things. Like when you get to that point where you're putting the yellow on the bottom, don't move the cube, like especially when you're starting out. Because I mean, I used to travel a lot, and I'd be on the airplane and I'd be trying to solve, and someone would bump me, and I'm like, oh my god, I have no idea how the cube was oriented, and I'm like like I give up. I guess I'm starting over. I mean, I used to start over a lot, and again, I didn't have any internet on the computer, on the airplane and whatnot, so I was just like racking my brain. I mean, I would when I would land, my brain would just be exhausted because I'd be just like pulling every ounce of energy I could out of it. So this is really funny because 99% of the time I feel like you would end up with a U-perm, which means you just have three edges. Let's see, like three edges like this that are wrong and they just need to be rotated. We got what's called a Z-perm. So that's when these two edges need to be swapped and then these two edges need to be swapped. We're not learning any advanced PLL in this, which is permutation of the last layer. That's, oh, check mark. We finished OLL. We are now to the PLL stage of CFOP. So what we are going to do, and I apologize because now you have to do your alg sets twice, but we're going to do the righty alg. So we're going to have to do, like I said, we're going to do this once, and then it's going to set up a U-perm, and then we're going to do it again, and it's going to solve. Usually, like I said, you would just get a U-perm, and it would be over with. But so holding it anyway, right now, it doesn't matter because it's going to set up a U-perm regardless. So, and you're going to learn what that is. So holding it with, I'm choosing green front, doesn't matter, but yellow top, back to white on bottom. And you're going to do one right alg, R, U, R prime, U prime. Then one left alg, L prime, U prime, L, U. And what you'll notice is it kind of like, it sets up this like headlight case and whatnot. And that's how you know you've done that right. And then what you're going to do is you're going to do 5 right algs and 5 left algs in that order. So R, U, R prime, U prime, 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 R, U, R prime, U prime. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing for the left side. We're going to do L prime, U prime, L, U, 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 L prime, U prime, L, U. So, and that did exactly what we were hoping. So a U-perm will look like this. You will have one solved side completely. The next 3 sides will have colors. One edge that's wrong. And what you need to do is you need to look at it. We're going to hold the solved side facing us. And you want to look at it, kind of peer over the top and edges to see which way do we want these colors to move. So we want orange to go here, which is, this is counterclockwise. We want everything pretty, like, if you, I don't know, I guess I should point this out, but orange goes to orange on that side, then that blue goes to blue, And what's really cool is I always thought the green would then go to this side, which was wrong, but it doesn't. Green goes all the way over to this side, and the whole thing is solved, which is just a beautiful thing. The whole cube's gonna come together right now. So get ready, guys. So holding the solved side facing us, yellow up, white down. We're going to do same exact thing. One right. Okay, so this is where it depends on which way you want it to go. Because we want it to go counterclockwise, you start with a righty alg. See, when I was taught, they said just do one right, one left, 5 right, 5 left. If it doesn't solve, do it again. And then if it doesn't solve, it could take up to, essentially you'd be doing a lot of, so you could do it, that whole setup, finishing setup move, you do 3 total times in the beginner method I was told. I'm just going to teach you how to do it once the right way the first time. Again, so if you want your colors to move counterclockwise, you start with the righty alg, one right, one left. If you want it to move counterclockwise, you do one left, one right, 5 left, 5 right. So they're just opposite of each other. If you want things to go left, moving clockwise, like I said, one left, one right, 5 left, 5 right. If you want them to go counterclockwise, one right, one left, 5 right, 5 left. So again, if you had to do that 3 whole times, if you had to do it and then do it again and then do it again to solve, that's a lot. I mean, that's, doing it 5 times 4, that's 20 moves for each one. So that's just a ridiculous amount of moves to finish it. So again, let's just do this. So we're starting with our righty alg, we're gonna do R, U, R prime, U prime. Now we want to do a lefty alg, L prime, U prime, L, U. And one thing you'll know is, again, you'll see the headlights. It always sets up this upside down T. That's kind of that's how you know this is going right. Also, if it gets hard to count the 5 algs, like if you get lost counting as you're doing it, you'll notice when you're doing the right side will just look solved once you've done 5. So if you lose count, just kind of keep watching and you'll see the cube just comes together. So here we go. So we've done 1 right, 1 left. Now we're gonna do 5 right, 1, R, U, R prime, U prime, 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 R, U, R prime, U prime. And this is what I mean, see how the whole right side of the cube just looks solved, where this side looks like how it was. So you know when you've hit 5, you know and you know that it's coming together because it all looks right. So now, continuing to hold it exact same way. This is where I'd say don't change the orientation of the cube in your hands. Don't be moving. Just keep it in home position. This is what they call it, in home position. When you have your thumbs on the front, fingers on the back, that is home position on a cube. So now what we're going to do is 5 left. So L prime, U prime, L, U. 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 One more. L prime, U prime, L, U. So there it is. That's the solve. Real quick, so I just want to feel this thing. I haven't played with my actual Rubik's Cube in so long. But real quick, I'm just going to go over the method just from start to finish, just verbally. So the method is CFOP. Now you know your pieces. You have centers, edges, and corners. And you know the color scheme and the orientation of the colors. You also know now that to do CFOP method, you want to start with a daisy. You want to build all your white edges on top, line them up with the colors they go with on the sides, and then rotate them down to make your white cross. Then you start looking for corner pieces, which you're going to find the corner pieces that match where they need to go, and you're going to bring it over just right on top of where it needs to go and do righty algs until that's inserted. You can also do lefty algs if that seems more efficient, or if you're left-handed or whatever, but either way, if you're going to do it with left though, if you're going to do it left-handed, just make sure it's in the top left and not still in the top right. That will not work out. So then once you get, again, you just do your righty algs until each corner is in place. Then once you have your corners, you take your edges, and you're going to want to line up, remember, the color with the color, move it away from where it needs to go. So if this needed to go in this spot, you would move it that way. You'd move it away from the spot it needs to go in. And if you turn it right to the right side, then you do one left, rotate the cube Y prime, and do one right. If you do the opposite, if you move the edge piece to the left, you're going to do one right, turn the cube Y move, and then it's just turning it to the right, and then do a left alg. So your algs, essentially, you do the righty alg to solve most of it. You do one right, one left to insert your edges. You do 3 right, 3 left to swap corners, and then you do 1 right, 1 left, 5 right, 5 left to do the finish. So it's really all the same algorithm, truly. So going through the solve, still we have, so once you get all of your edges in place, like I said, you do which way you turned it, you do the opposite way first. So if you turned it left, then you go right, then left on your algs. And then once you have all your edges in, that's completing F2L, then you want to go ahead and look for a dot, a line, or a hook. I don't know if I went over the line. So the line, you do the same exact thing. You just turn the front layer over and do a righty alg, and it'll give you a cross. If it's a dot, you have to turn the front layer over, do a righty alg, then you have to come and turn both layers back over because you have a hook at that point. And then you do the righty alg again and turn it back, and then you'll have your cross. If you have a line, if you have dot, line, and if you have a hook, then you just turn those front 2 layers over by themselves, do a righty alg, turn those front layers back, and then you'll have some version of a cross. At that point, you find your corners that match. You want to line them up and find out how many need to be swapped. So this was the one that we had, let's see, we had the red and green and the blue and green, the red and blue and the green and red in the right spot, and we just needed to switch these ones. So I can just do that real quick for you. So the 2 you want to swap, you're going to hold that on the right hand side and do 3 right, do a Y move. So now that this is facing me, and this is in the top left, most importantly. And if you're going to do lefty alg, you want this in the top left. If you're going to do righty alg, you want it in the top right. So we're doing left, so we want it in the top left. 3, 1, 2, 3. So now, unlike before, now all of our corners are in the right place. So again, I'll finish this cube off. I might as well just do it. We're so close. So now you would turn it upside down. You do righty algs until this yellow is on the bottom. Then you want to keep everything exactly the way it is. Rotate the next foul corner to the bottom. Do righty algs till that's at the bottom. Again, this is going to keep looking super messed up and weird, and all you need to do is just trust that if you hold it and don't do any extra movements, it's going to work. So one last time, do righty algs till it's down. Now, oh my gosh, we actually got we got a Z-perm again. I don't know, that, like, the chances of that are so rare. So doing what we did before, we're going to do 1 righty hand, 1 lefty hand. We do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left. Now that sets up our U-perm. Actually, red solved. This is so weird. This is like almost the exact same case, except we want to go opposite way this time. So that's actually a cool thing to know. So now we want to go clockwise. So instead of doing 1 right, 1 left, we're going to do 1 left, 1 right, 5 left, 5 right, and it's going to be solved. So here we go. 1 left, 1 right, and remember to look for the upside down T and the headlights here. This is how you know you've set this case up right. However, though, if you do it right first and left, it'll still look right. It won't solve the cube. You'll have to do it again. That's what I was talking about. In the beginner method I learned, you just keep doing that 1 left, 1 right, 5 left, 5 right until it solves itself. We're not going to do that. We're just going to do it right the first time. So, and right is actually left. Sorry, that's probably confusing, but we started with left. So now we're going to do 5 left, 3, 4, 5, and that, you can see that side of the cube is solved. That's how you know you were at 5. And then do 5 right, and the whole cube is solved. So yeah, I think we went through every little piece of information I wanted to give you. I'll make sure, like I said, that all the algorithms are on the screen and everything for you guys. But yeah, I think that's it. If you have any questions, please ask. I realize that a lot of people, this will be kind of like below your skill level, but if it's not, I hope this helps. That's really the whole point. I always say that this is about the community of cubers and helping each other and reaching out and everything. So hopefully this helps someone get through their first cube. I mean, that's the idea, right? So good luck. And if you're using a Rubik's, I would recommend maybe looking into like something cheap like the RS3 MV5. That's only $9, but I would say it's such a better and more pleasant experience to solve. But that's just a random endorsement from me. Rubiks is great and all, but the performance is not what everyone would love. But I just brought this out because I figured most new cubers will be probably solving on a Rubik's Cube, and having a like that stickered tiled look, it might be something that helps you solve. So again, I apologize. I wish I had the over-the-shoulder camera. That would have been really helpful to see just from that vantage point, but I was really trying to show you what I was doing. So hopefully you guys got the gist of it, and yeah, have a great day, guys. Yellow, everybody. So thank you for watching that tutorial. I really hope that was helpful. I know it's a little bit long and I really wanted to be very descriptive and detailed. I just hope it was easy to follow and not too confusing, but thank you for tuning into the tutorial. And pretty soon here, now that we've got the beginner's tutorial done, we're going to do a somewhat slightly more advanced tutorial for CFOP and for 3x3. And we're going to kind of take steps as far as going from beginner method and maybe not jumping straight to advanced, but I'm going to help you guys maybe make the transition from beginner to advanced, because I found that was one of the hardest things for me was, you go right from beginner to wanting to learn all of your PLLs, all of your OLLs, all of your F2Ls, everything, and it's a lot. And so I'm going to kind of take you through some, not like cheats or hacks or shortcuts or anything. It's really just some tips that I've found that help me learn without being overwhelmed by the quantity of information that needs to be consumed to get better. So yeah, just look at it. We'll do another tutorial, and it's going to be kind of like a blended beginner advanced tutorial, and then we'll get to the advanced method. But I wish that someone had somewhat an intermediary tutorial, and I know that's kind of a contra. It's kind of a it's not the most widely loved topic, I guess. I don't know how else to put it, but a lot of people disagree with doing anything but learning the advanced method, because they think of it as learning bad habits, and then you're learning things that aren't going to help you further down the line. But the thing is my blended method, you use the PLL and OLL, and you use the advanced methods, but I just hand pick certain ones. Mostly certain cases that pop up most of the time. I start doing analysis on what OLLs I see. What are the ones that, especially after you make your yellow cross, you can just learn, I think it's like 8 OLLs that have a cross involved, so that way you can do the beginner method to get your cross, and then start learning those OLLs first. We'll get into it. There's a lot of tips you can do where you're still learning the techniques for the advanced method, and you're not building bad habits, but you're blending or blurring the beginner and advanced, just so it can help you transition. And that's where I was at. I wanted to transition to the advanced, and I had a hard time making that jump because I felt like I had to learn every single thing you needed to know before I got there. And I realized from talking to other cubers, from interacting with people, that's just not the case. I mean, everyone is learning and is in that transition period, whether they want to admit it or not. I mean, some people are closer to the finish line, but we're all still learning. So I just thought it was a good way to go about it. So hopefully you enjoyed that, and hopefully you'll enjoy the next one too. Thank you so much for tuning in, and you guys take care, and keep an eye out. We have our giveaway going on, our 2x2 giveaway, customization giveaways going on. I haven't had many entries yet, so good chances on winning, and that cube I have all the supplies to make it, so that cube will take me all of like a day or two to mod. So good luck, everyone. Again, thank you for your participation and help. Again, if you want to enter the contest or the giveaway, just leave a comment with a video suggestion. That's what I'm asking for. Leave any type of video suggestion, anything you'd like to see on the channel, and just like, subscribe, leave a suggestion for a video. You're in the giveaway. Peace, everybody.